Hello and welcome to Most Clicked. Now, before we get into today's show, if you like today's content, please like this video. And if you like our content overall, please do hit the subscribe button. Okay, so today's show is all about course pages again, in particular, the University of Kent's course pages. So, Kyle, what's the story?
Hey, Nath. I'm kind of going on a course page kick at the moment. I fell out of love with them like a few years ago, but I've started to get back into them again. Um, so, uh, University of Kent's course pages, really nice design. As a pretty standard thing to say now. But the thing that really caught my attention was how they use video on the page. And when you load this page, you'll see this little video here in the kind of header area slide in from the right there. And usually I always feel like things that interrupt a user's experience are, sometimes a negative. But for this, I actually think it's a really good use of video. A couple of reasons. One, it actually allows you to have a bit of context around the content you put in the video. So if you know that a video is going to slide in from the top here when the page loads, you know that generally that needs to be a sort of introduction to the course and give an overview of it. And I can see over a couple of the pages, they have designed the content to fit into that sort of space. So it feels quite well thought out. The other thing is, usually when you start playing these things, they can start playing in the background. So if you are interested in finding other content in the page, you can have a narrative, almost giving you a sort of voiceover, a bit more wider context to the sort of content you're reading. Overall, it's a really basic thing, but I think it works really well. And this is in juxtaposition to what normally happens on course pages, where you have videos on them, but they're usually in multiple locations and they sort of pop up from time. You're just not too sure what to expect. But this, it felt very well thought out. And I haven't really seen it before on a university course page. So I'm interested to hear what you think and if you have come across something similar in the past.
I mean, we at Smile, we've worked on a number of different course page projects, and they either suffer from two things. One is having no video. The other is having, oh, hey, we've got 14 videos we'd like to put on this page, please. And the thing that I really like with the example there from Kent is the kind of considered content approach to video. And like you say, having a single video that can permeate that user's experience as they kind of scroll down the page, like you say, with the audio. And these are the things that I don't think many people consider, is that the post play button, and like post play, they might scroll and the audio is there and it's really important. And well, and I did work with one client, they were talking a lot about the read, watch, listen approach and how you should be attacking each one of those kind of senses with the content. So I quite like that approach. I do really like the Kent example. We have worked, shameless plug, we've worked on projects though where we've done very similar to this. I know that when we worked on the University of Sunderland website many moons ago, it must be 6, maybe even coming up to 7 years ago now. And it was we promoted video as a big part of that redesign and said each course should have a video. I think now they've actually gone to having a carousel of videos, but here you can see one actually. Look, so you've got the overview there with the embedded YouTube video for you to kind of watch the overview of the course page. But like you say, I don't think that it's necessarily a unique idea. That I think the power of it is in the execution, and
Absolutely.
it's all about, dare I say, content design.
Yeah, and I think it's very easy to kind of carried away with like trends, isn't it? And I think video has been like a trend for like the last 10 years. Like every year it's like video. And you are right. Sometimes it ends up with like, we're going to put 12 videos on this single page. Normally doesn't happen with course pages, but you have seen pages that I'm talking about. So to actually see the medium be considered and how it can be used, because video isn't that innovative, but how you use it is that differentiator. And I'd love to see more unis doing something like that. Just a nice sort of audio assistant that follows you down the page or just gives you that overview, and being sympathetic to what the user needs at that point, rather than just bludgeoning them over the head with like a grid layout with like 12 videos on it, which is always
and there's nothing worse than that. We sometimes we'll get requests of like, hey, we want to replicate YouTube on our website, and they'll just give you a bunch of, and it's like, no, that's YouTube. Like, you can just do that on YouTube. And instead, I think there are so many more interesting and interactive experiments that universities could be looking at. And like you saying there about, you know, as you scroll down, the video kind of being your assistant. Well, I see it as you scroll down the page, there are a number of different videos in that kind of, hey, we've got 14 videos, but there's perhaps kind of that person narrating your journey down the page, and they could autoplay, and maybe that could be used instead of the images, and maybe it could be embedded as part of the images. I think there are just so many different uses of video way beyond the, hey, let's cut a 2.5 minute video together. And I know why that's done. It's easy. It's the expected. It's in everybody's wheelhouse to kind of do. But I just think that video represents this incredible opportunity to engage with the person at the other end of the screen, and that sometimes it's not taken full advantage of. We spoke about in a couple of episodes back TikTok and how there are embeds for TikTok, and I know that like viewing it off platform and all that sort of stuff, but again, that whole vertical video thing is really underutilized on website experiences still, even though in most tenders for a website university, you will see over 50% of our users are on mobiles, so we need to put them first. So like I say, I think it's an underexplored avenue.
I remember when vertical video was viewed as a negative, especially when like that format was first emerging. And I remember, I can't remember the channel, I think it's called Hat and Boots or something, but they did it was funny. They did like an attack on vertical video, and I just look back at that video, which was published probably 2013, and I think, wow, you know, called that wrong. So yeah, you're right. It's not quite, it's still not quite accepted yet in terms of like tenders or whatever. But you know, the trend is there. So
it's time and place though as well, right? Like I'm the first one that I get annoyed. I get annoyed when my wife films in like vertical format versus landscape, and that's the kind of old person in me. But it, you know, at the same time, I was doing some video editing, bizarrely, the past couple of days, and in there's all these guides, and one of the guides now is a vertical, like a portrait guide, so that if you shoot in landscape, you'll know which bit of it is for portrait. And so I think it's like it's unescapable, but also you've got to design your content for the right audience in the right place at the right time. And you know, I think what Kent have done really well here, to bring it back to what Kent have done, is that they've kind of identified that somebody's going to be on that page in that moment, and they're providing content to do that. Could they go further with that? Yeah, but they probably could. But there are other places of university websites, or indeed other university websites, period, where different formats of video could really work. Again, I call back to my days with Sunderland. I remember when we were doing their Choose Sunderland page, we had a load of very short, like 3-4 second videos that were square portrait, like square aspect ratio, and had them in this kind of parallax floaty thing. And you know, it worked really well. It didn't feel like an immersive kind of BBC experience video that we were asking people to sit forward and engage with for 2.5 minutes. So yeah, I think this basically what I think I'm trying to say is content and design, they work so in tandem with one another, that when you are creating these types of experiences, the two should be considered at the same time rather than as separated things.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more.
All right, cool. Well, thanks very much for your time again today. We're, of course, man down. Matt is not here. He's away on holiday duties this week, but hopefully he will be back next week. And yeah, it's been a blast. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit that like button and see you next week.